Views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast.
Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast. I did some digging. This is episode number 66. 66! I know there are folks out there that have done many more and have done this for so much longer, and big kudos to them, but man, welcome to number 66. By the way, I'm John Engelman. Thanks for consuming today's episode. And today we're in Fayetteville. We're with Lewis Chase, co-owner of Feed and Folly, City Park, and the Guisinger, which is where we did the interview. But first, I'm itching for a little
Food news.
More like coffee news today. In fact, 2 coffee places have opened in Springdale in the past week, and we kick it off with the much-anticipated Onyx Coffee and Chocolate Shop downtown. The doors flew open on Monday, and what a place. You walk in at mid-level with seating sections and the coffee bar. There's also a few neatly appointed retail walls on this floor as well. And then you hop downstairs, and if you go left, that's where you find and smell the chocolate. You could see the chocolate beans roasting, and you could stock up on goodies there. Speaking of stocking up on goodies, on the other side of the stairs in the basement, you'll find Hello Local. They were formerly across the street on Emma. This is the place to get local items, like local salsa, local hot sauce, local snacks, local t-shirts, hats, much more. You can also box it right there, check it out, and be on your way. On the 3rd floor, you will find workstations and a conference table that can be rented out. Great spot for that. This location has been a long time coming for co-owner Andrea Allen.
Well, I'm thrilled that we're finally open. We've been wanting to do something in downtown Springdale for over a decade, and it just took a while to find the right location and get everything built, and it's finally here.
One note for you, the U.S. Cup Tasters Championship will be at the 2nd Street Studio this weekend in downtown Rogers. There are several events that are a part of it happening elsewhere. Check out the schedule on the Onyx Coffee Lab social media pages. On the west side of Springdale, Doomsday Coffee's now open in the old Cafe Compila space. They'd been working to get it open for the last month, and if you've listened to this, you've heard me update it, and there was that delayed health inspection that put them behind for a bit. No matter, though, it's glorious and totally Doomsday. They still have a big downstairs and a quieter upstairs to enjoy your coffee and tacos. Oh, speaking of the tacos, don't worry, they're just as good as the Fayetteville location. You know, actually, they're better. Or I was just really hungry. Regardless, it hit the spot, and it was paid for by a former coworker's credit card because we got the wrong ones back at dinner the night before. Hey, thanks, Mari. And by the way, I will be back. Sikaru Coffee Roasters in Fayetteville will be holding their grand opening on Memorial Day weekend on Saturday the 24th. They're at 716 West Sycamore in Fayetteville. DJ Girlfriend and Rabbit Hole will be there. Check out Rabbit Hole's social media as we get closer to see what the pop-up will be. Of course, they're at Rabbit Hole NWA. The Preacher's Son in Bentonville is officially opening their new rooftop bar today, and it's called Celeste. It'll be open Wednesday through Sunday evenings. Hope they get a dry day soon. Big news at Sassafras Springs Vineyard. Their 2021 Syrah placed platinum, best in class at the Texas International Wine Competition. There were 2 days of intense competition with more than 753 wine entries from 29 U.S. states and 12 countries. Huge win for a great family operation. Now I need to go get one. Yo Daddy's Tri-Tip will be coming soon to downtown Springdale. They have a coming soon sign on their website, and the address will be 108 South Main Street. No date given yet for their grand opening. Finally, you've no doubt seen the Flavorsmith Craft Barbecue has moved to the Fayetteville Athletic Club over by the Tennis Center. Now my diet's about to be blown. They're putting a grab-and-go case by the entrance of the gym and racquetball courts. It's right by the front desk, where they better not come to work hungry. Lewis Chase is a Fayetteville guy through and through. Born and raised, U of A educated, and spends his days downtown mostly. He's also part owner of 3 popular restaurants, Feed and Folly, City Park, and the Guisinger. He's got some great stories, like how they opened Feed and Folly before COVID. Right before COVID. He'll tell you how they survived that. And how about City Park? Is it a seasonal place? And what does it have to do with Southwestern Bell? Those of you that have been in Fayetteville for a long time will know that answer. And how did they come about getting the Guisinger? He'll tell us about that and the name as well. We talk to Lewis Chase, and that's next, right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
Welcome back. We are at the vaunted Guisinger here with Lewis Chase, co-owner. Sir, how are you?
Doing great, sir.
I appreciate your time.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad you're here.
Well, I appreciate it. That's awesome. I'm ready to get to it, and I want to start off with your, or if there is a restaurant background with you. Did you work in restaurants at any point growing up?
So growing up, one of my really good friends, his parents owned Noodles.
Yes.
Italian Kitchen, still here today.
Yes.
But we always had a joke that if you were friends with the Walkers, you worked for them at some point,
Yeah.
whether it was food running or
Yeah.
hosting or something.
Yeah. Had my rehearsal dinner there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so did that right out of high school, going into college. And
Sure.
then during college, I would do some caterings for like the football team with their son.
Nice.
And then I got into bartending on Dixon Street.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my experience, my first experience into hospitality.
Nice. So you had a big Fayetteville foothold on the restaurant scene there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like I said, it was I just remember when I was a kid thinking it was so cool to walk with Casey, like, which was the Walker's son,
Yeah.
and like go through the back and in the kitchen and talk to the cooks. And I just remember thinking it was like the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely.
And so when I got to college and started bartending, I think that's like where I figured out that hospitality was always going to be a part of my life.
And, I know you went to school at U of A,
Right.
And what did you even know then that I'm gonna get in the restaurant world?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
Zero idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was your profession after college?
I actually started off working for Mike Conley Sr. in
Okay.
sports management.
Nice.
He was a sports agent. I worked
Sure.
kind of like as his personal assistant. Did that for about 2 years. Then I did real estate,
Okay.
mostly residential. I worked
Okay.
for Coldwell Banker for 2 years, and I still have my license. And I work for Collier and Associates.
Okay. Sure.
Got into that. Really enjoyed it, but being from Fayetteville, you just kind of saw a lack of places to go and things to do. You saw up north growing so rapidly
Sure.
and all these cool
Yeah.
restaurants and stuff happening. And so, long story short, I went on a bachelor party to Colorado where my partners were living at the time
Okay.
in Durango, Colorado. They were running a deli and doing the food program at a brewery.
No kidding.
And it blew me away. I remember we went there and I think I was probably 25 or 26.
Okay.
All their food was good. Like, they seemed like they were doing great. And so that's kind of where it started.
So this is the Sutton brothers too.
Sutton
that you're
brothers,
talking about.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
right.
exactly.
And are they originally from here?
No, they're actually from Southport, England.
Oh.
Then
okay.
moved from Southport to Georgia.
Okay.
And then when I was in 8th grade, Michael was in my class and sat next to me, and he had a different voice. And
Yeah.
ever since then, we've been friends.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how that works, right?
It is, yeah, for
That's
sure.
great. So they're in Durango. When did you guys decide, let's partner up and do something in Fayetteville?
Probably about a year after that bachelor party.
Okay.
So I was probably 27.
Okay.
They were loving Colorado.
Sure.
They were skiing all the time.
Of course. What's not to love?
Right. But they kind of realized how expensive it was to live out there.
True.
And just to do anything in that profession out there, how much property cost.
Yeah.
I think they just kind of started seeing that, and it was a slow. I went out there just to hang out with them.
Sure.
Kind of planted the idea, and then it kind of grew from there, and finally got them to move back here.
Nice. How long until you guys decided, okay, we really need to put our money where our mouth is, and it's time to go, let's find a building, and let's start building something out?
So the plan was to do it right when they moved back.
Okay.
But of course, nothing ever works out like you
No.
think it's going to.
No,
and it
never.
actually took probably about 2.5 years to find
Okay.
the Feed and Folly building after they moved to Fayetteville. Mikey was a GM at both Schmitty's garages.
Okay,
the Fayetteville
yeah,
one, and
sure.
so they were working hospitality when they moved back. And honestly, we struck out on 2 properties before Feed and Folly.
No kidding. God, it's so hard to
It
be
really
able to find a
is.
place.
Yeah, and we were really excited about the first one. We could tell it wasn't going to work out, so we flipped over. I was walking in to sign a lease on Block Street on a building. I won't say what building it is. And they took it away from us and signed it to somebody else like an hour before I showed up, and they didn't tell me. So I was working with Sage Partners.
Holy crap.
A really good friend of mine named Matt Mazzoni does commercial real estate.
Okay.
I was working with him during that process, and he's like, I've never seen anything like this before. A day passes, he calls me back, and he's like, hey, I have another friend that works in real estate. His name's Sterling Hamilton. Also owns some property around town. He wants to meet you guys. And so he ended up setting up a meeting with Sterling and Greg House.
Okay.
They walked me over to where Feed and Folly is now, and they basically said, if you guys want to do a restaurant, we'll buy this building and we'll help you guys.
Wow.
Me and Michael put a ladder on the roof, climbed up there, saw the view, and we're like, we're sold. Let's do it.
The roof that is now the patio.
Exactly, yeah.
Tell me, okay, this is Feed. By the way, the name Feed and Folly, where'd that come from?
Feed and Folly, so again, with the boys' history in Southport, they have a great uncle or grandfather, and he was known as the Duke of Folly in Southport.
No kidding.
Apparently, he was super eccentric.
Okay.
Like way back in the day, he like tried to pitch making Southport like a vacation town, and like was the first person to put like changing stations on their beach. But the folly and the dude part, like the Duke part, really got me. And so when we started playing with words,
Yeah.
feed and then folly, and it just kind of worked out that the feed's the food, the folly's kind of the fun upstairs.
It's great.
And so it was just kind of perfect. And it just, once we found it, it was like, that has to be it, right?
Perfect. And what was it like building out? Because you've got to get on the roof to build it out, right?
It was a process, yeah. It was a really big process. The roof cost us more money than we ever thought it was going to.
Oh, man.
But we knew that we didn't want that. We didn't want to put it there without it. And so
Right.
it was something we kind of sacrificed for, and
Yeah.
ended up working out great.
It's paid off.
It has, for sure, yeah.
You guys opened that and then get smacked in the face with COVID,
The
basically.
day after, yeah, we had our
Was
soft
it really the
opening.
day after?
Oh, yeah. Soft opening Sunday. Monday, me and Michael are sitting there running lunch service, and the news starts popping up.
Oh, no.
And, at that time, no one was closing down yet.
Sure.
But we kind of just looked at each other and said, I think we need to close. And so we made it 12 hours on our first day before we shut the doors for COVID.
Good gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What a buzzkill.
It was,
That's
man. It
the
was
worst.
scary. Yeah.
How did you survive it? Because it's not like you had built up clientele or regulars.
Right. Honestly, with where Feed and Folly is, we had so much buzz throughout the whole town just because it's right there on South College. You can't really drive downtown without seeing it. So during construction, people were really curious. And then I think people heard our story, and then the second we got hit with COVID, I think people felt really bad for us. And so we made it because of the community, hands
Sure.
down. Like, we didn't even do a ton of marketing. We had zero money
Yeah.
at the time because we just got the doors open.
No.
And so we survived purely on the great community of Fayetteville.
And just like, pick up orders?
Oh, dude, we were open from 4 to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Only to go orders. And
Okay.
it was me and 3 guys, and we'd keep 2 girls to answer phones for us,
Yeah.
and we just got after it.
And they just pull up front or on the side and
Yeah,
that's
they'd
it?
pull up front. We'd have a host taking phone calls and someone else running the food out the door.
What a
and,
system.
Yeah, it worked out great.
What a system.
Honestly, mad credit to my partners. They're so good at pivoting and not getting too caught up with what we can't do and just trying to figure out what we can do.
All the
and
difference.
that survived us. Yeah,
All the difference.
That's how we made it.
And then as it gets a year down the road and people are starting to get the idea that things are starting to lift and lighten up a little bit, you guys, did you do the whole social distancing thing inside?
We did. We actually opened. We had the patio was the first thing that we opened.
Of course,
And-
yeah.
And luckily we had good weather at the time. But we started with the patio, every other table, and it kind of grew into downstairs could open every
Yeah.
other table.
Yeah.
And then slowly just started adding more tables back as people got more comfortable.
Okay. And you could hire to that as time went on.
Yeah. Well, we got so lucky. We kept the majority of our kitchen staff and just knew that we were going to take an
amazing.
L on that.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to rehire.
Right.
And then luckily, most of our front of house is college kids. They were going home anyways because
Sure.
COVID and school was canceled. So they came right back once school reopened and started their jobs again. So
Timing
it
is
really
everything.
Worked out great. Yeah.
Wow. That is good. 2023, you guys decide, okay, let's do something even probably more difficult, and let's do a park,
Yep.
city park. For those that haven't been, City Park is a place. It's an outdoor place, basically.
It is, yeah.
And is it now? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it seasonal?
It is not. We're open.
Okay, so you're
we're
open all the weather.
year. Yeah.
Okay, I'm totally
all
wrong.
weather.
Okay, good. Because I've been there only when it's like perfect outside. Because that's what I think about then.
Well,
But-
that's the time to go.
That's the time to go for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
That's when it packs up too,
Absolutely.
for sure. So, it's very unique. Tell me about getting City Park together.
Yeah, so it's funny when I first pitched a restaurant idea to the brothers.
Yeah.
It was more of a City Park idea.
Okay.
I had spent a lot of time going to Dallas and a lot of other places to see my friends after college, and it seemed like anytime I went and visited them in a bigger city, during the day, we were finding a huge outdoor beer garden,
Yep.
and we were hanging out. And as you get older too, I have friends with babies.
Sure.
Dixon Street wasn't taking us anymore, So we, for us, we're like, man, all my friends have kids. I still like to have beers on a Saturday.
Sure.
There's not a whole lot of places to do that at
Right.
with kids, and so that's kind of how City Park grew. And honestly,
It's just an exceptionally unique space.
it is. It's an old Southwestern Bell. It used to be a truck depot.
No kidding.
So like, and all the, we had the huge main structure, the overhang.
Yeah.
Trucks used to back in there, fill up their, equipment, and then go take out and do
No
internet
kidding.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, for folks that don't know, the younger folk, Southwestern Bell is now AT&T.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Just FYI.
And so, yeah, the City Park, we didn't build really anything,
Okay.
all the structures were there,
Yeah.
previous to us taking over it. And the way we found it, honestly, was Michael was on the trail one day, and we knew the property was there,
Yeah.
but he was on the trail one day, and they had a lease sign up. They were leasing out like 3 offices there. I think one was a tow truck, one was
Okay.
a car detailing place,
Sure.
and then the other office was for rent. So I called the guy and said, I don't want to rent this, I want to buy it. And so long negotiation, we ended up getting the property
Unbelievable.
and started tackling it from there.
And it's not all building. You've also got kind of food truck or two out there.
Yeah, so we have a big barbecue trailer out
Mm-hmm.
there and a yard bar. When we have busy weekends, it'll have beer and stuff
Right.
just to subsidize the crowd a little bit. But yeah, it's 1.5 acres
It's huge.
on the bike trail.
Yeah.
We're still working on trying to get connected because we do have Skull Creek in between us.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Beautiful build out, all the TVs.
Yeah, so it's
Everywhere.
big sports. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Feed and Folly has no TVs. The Guisinger has no TVs. We figured we'd have one spot. That was a good place to watch some games.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Right.
Nice. So how hard is that place that really focuses on weather? How hard is that to staff?
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And just the whole process of running that place has been really difficult. But again, having great partners, and
Yeah.
we were lucky enough to purchase that property, so we have a little bit more leniency on not having like a big rent
Yeah.
check that we have to write every
That's
day,
good.
every month. And so for us, it's just keeping that place open.
Yeah.
It's like the number one goal. And
Yeah.
we have a great staff there. Again, we keep people around during the slow hours because we know we're going to need them the second the spring hits. 'Cause, February in Arkansas, it'll be
Both.
20 degrees, and then the next day it'll be 80, and we'll be full. And so,
Right.
we can't really find people off the street to come work. And so you got to keep people around and just know that there's going to be times where you're losing money.
Yeah.
There's going to be times that you're really going to be making it. And
Sure.
you just got to be smart with it.
Yeah. That is the place for that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you decide, I think we need to open another place.
Yeah.
The place in which we're sitting, the Guisinger, and place is chock full of history. But had you had your eye on this place as a potential?
I actually hadn't. You know,
okay.
we were just getting City Park open. I think it was 2 months into City Park being open. Things aren't going great. We're all working a ton.
Sure.
And Sterling Hamilton, who I mentioned earlier, that
Yeah.
owns a little bit of the real estate at Feed and Folly,
Okay.
reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I've got this building. Will you walk through it and just tell me what you think it should be?"
Oh, no.
So I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll do it." Me and Mikey walk in here, and we start walking around, and the things that we call snugs, these little private rooms,
Sure.
reminded him of England.
Okay.
Like a pub,
Yeah.
and they call them snugs over there.
Okay.
And he just started looking around. I was like, "It's got to be a bar, man."
Oh.
And that's where it started.
Whose bar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we ended up, with Sterling and another guy named Pierce Hamilton, who owns this building.
Okay.
Partnered with them to bring you all the Guisinger. And so.
Okay. And the name is obviously very significant.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm a long-term Fayetteville guy, born and raised here. Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. I've never lived further than Rolling Hills.
Okay.
And like I spent a year there, and I was like, dude, this is way too far. I got to get back downtown so I can walk home from Dixon.
Right. Good times.
Right, exactly. But yes, the building, my mom's from here. And so the building it's always been called the Guisinger building. Back in the day, you can see some photos up here. They were selling pianos.
Oh, gosh, I didn't even, yeah.
Yeah, you can see that's the Guisinger wagon right there.
Yeah.
And they got pianos loaded up in it.
That's amazing.
Right. And so it was the Guisinger music. They sold pianos and like big equipment. And then I think as they got into the 70s, they started doing more like record sales and some smaller music stuff. And so like my mom, back to the Snugs, remembers sitting in there, shutting the door and listening to 45 records as like a kid. You know, when we first opened this place, I knew people had history here and we knew how historic the building was, but the amount of people that come in here that have memories of, I've sung a song over there on a piano.
That's great.
And then it was a law office after the Guisinger. It was the Odom Elliott Law Firm for a really long time. So there's so many people that come in here, like lawyers, that are like, that was my office.
That's great.
So yeah, I think it's been a really special place for the community just to see it repurposed and not change too much, you know.
And for a while it was a Roots Festival office too, right?
Yeah, during COVID they had concerts in here.
No kidding.
Like as you could, you know, as people were coming back together. But yeah, there was concerts in here, and that was one thing, is the sound in this building is great.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
And so we knew it from that.
Heavy build out in here. It's been so many things, as you mentioned, but heavy build out in here. But you made it very classic.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Honestly, just my family has a history with the Bank of Fayetteville.
Okay.
And Bank of Fayetteville has always been green to me.
Okay.
It's like the green tile represents the Bank of Fayetteville to me.
Interesting.
And my Uncle
Okay.
John, who was the president there as a kid when I was a child. So the green was like an ode to Fayetteville to me. Nice. Then a cool story about the cloud. I had found some inspiration through Instagram on some bars that I liked. I sent it to an architect named Matt Poe, who owns Stroke Architecture from now.
Okay.
And I was just like, hey man, you know, like I'm not trying to get like full sets of plans here because we're on a budget, but here's kind of my inspiration. And the dude sent me back like a hand-drawn picture of essentially this.
Okay.
Obviously he gave me the measurements and stuff, and I had my friend build it, but the walnut on the lip of the bar and on the cloud is all local. It's from Drake Farms.
Well, how about that?
It's a walnut tree that fell down during the ice storm.
Wow.
Neil Pendergraft saved it and was nice enough to donate it for us. And so
very cool.
I think that's just such a cool story that it's
that's an amazing story.
It's Fayetteville walnut.
That's Fayetteville walnut. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Very cool. What a great story.
But everything else, like I said, we just really tried to pay homage to the building.
Sure.
Like the ceiling tiles are from the 1800s. I've been told they were made in Fayetteville. I don't know. I don't have like proof of
You
this.
weren't there.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm going to roll with that. So it was made in Fayetteville.
Nice.
And then, you know, the challenge with this place was just paint and, you know, some booths. And like I said, I always tell building, like the building did the work itself.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of tried to add things to bring back the character and make it feel like it's been here for a long time.
Very classic place.
For sure.
For sure. All right, you ready to talk food and drink?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We've got that. We've got the Mike Engelman Ho Pro Tip of the Week, and that's coming up next right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Let me show you something.
Connect with us at Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on Facebook and Instagram, or by email at flavorsofnwa@gmail.com.
Welcome back. It is now time for the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week. And for that, we go to Lewis. Sir.
So on the tip here, since we're sitting in the bar, I figured it'd be a cocktail tip.
Love it.
And this tip is coming from my bar manager, Whit, who is one of the reasons this place is so successful and creative. And so he is big on batching.
Okay.
And I've even, like, you know, you get home from a long day, the first thing you want is a cocktail.
Sure.
The last thing you want to do sometimes is make it.
Yeah, kind of like dinner too.
Kind of like dinner. And so Whit is big on batching easy drinks like a martini or old fashioned.
So for those,
it can be anything really.
For those outside of the business, what's batching?
Batching is just pre-making, and so I'm going to get into that. So basically, you know, you get online, find your favorite recipe of an old fashioned or a martini. And basically you start with the base recipe for it. And the easiest method is to find the total volume of the drink that the recipe states, right? Then you can convert each ingredient measurement to a percentage of the whole volume. And then you can use those percentages to make it a larger batch.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's his biggest tip.
Perfect.
Is to do that and just make sure you leave out the citrus.
The citrus.
Yes, you add the citrus when you make the drink.
Okay.
Not when you batch it.
Good note.
Yep.
Very good note. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. And then it should just be sitting there frozen. You put it in the freezer and you can just pour it the second you get home. Add a lime and you're there, or an orange peel.
That's amazing. I love it. Great one. We'll be right back.
Your story doesn't have to end. As an organ donor, the good in you can live on. In fact, you can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Sign up to give the gift of life after you're gone. You'll be happy you did. Just maybe, someone else will too. Sign up online today as an organ, eye, and tissue donor at organdonor.gov. It saves lives.
It is more critical than ever right now to be an organ donor. 17 people a day die waiting for a transplant. There are over 103,000 people on the organ transplant waiting list. Last year, 48,149 transplants occurred. That was a 3% increase, but here's the problem. More people are added to the waiting list faster than transplants can occur. We all know that. If you're not listed as a donor yet, go to organdonor.gov. Get signed up to be a donor. It takes 5 minutes. It literally does take 5 minutes in Arkansas and Texas. I've said it before. I don't know about the other states. And if you're in another state, check it out. Tell me the time for that. But for Arkansas and Texas, it takes 5 minutes. It literally does. You can also get signed up through the Health app on your iPhone. You can also go to the DMV or the Department of Finance, depending upon where you are. Speaking of the Department of Finance, listen to this. I got my new driver's license because there's a May 7th deadline for your driver's license to have the new Homeland Security
Real
thing.
ID.
Real ID, yeah, it's exactly what it is. Here's the Department of Finance trick in Arkansas. Schedule an appointment online. I was in and out of there in 10 minutes, no problem. And there was lines of people in there. So if you schedule online, they will call your name, you go up, handle it less than 10 minutes and you're out. It was glorious. And I walked out of there and people were giving me some dirty looks. True story. Anyway, so organdonor.gov, I went on a little tangent there, sorry, but organdonor.gov is where you go to get signed up. Thank you as always. And welcome back. Lewis Chase of the Guisinger. We're ready to talk food and drink. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's giddy up here. Feed and Folly. I mean, you had a blank canvas there as far as the food's concerned. What was the original idea for the menu?
Honestly, some of the stuff that we do there, the boys were doing in Colorado.
Oh, great.
So they had experience doing some of the things as far as like brining pastrami, doing the corned beef.
Nice.
Making pretzels, which we do in-house every day.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And so like when we came up with the name, it was pretty obvious to us that it was kind of like a English pub fare type of vibe. But,
Yeah.
we can't be serving mushy peas because people in America aren't going to want that.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, no. And so, for us, it was trying to create something that paid homage to their English history,
Sure.
but also was cheap and affordable because we're in a college town,
Sure.
and appealed to everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the menu came from at Feed and Folly.
I mentioned to you when we sat down, that is my fish taco place because it's got just the right amount of spice, aioli. I'm a spice wimp. I think I've said that on here before many, many times. I am a spice wimp. Fraudulent native Texan, I might add, because of that. But the amount of spice on there is just perfect. It just makes my nose run just enough to know that I've had spice, and it tastes good too.
That's
so
perfect.
I love it. That's what I always get there. I've had the Reuben there too, which is also very good. But I've got to grow out of this. You go to a place for a dish. You think of a dish. You go to a place. I need to expand more.
When you're
and try
craving
new
that
things.
dish going into place,
That's
and then
the
you get there and
problem.
you're like, am I going to ruin this by not getting the dish I know I'm craving?
And I've done
Right?
that before.
Yeah,
I've had something.
definitely.
Someone's like, "Oh, you got to try this." I tried it. And I'm like, "Okay," but now I'm full and I can't have what I was originally going to come
Exactly,
here for.
yeah.
I hate that. Yeah.
No,
but
fish tacos are great, man. That's this time of year too.
for sure.
It's like our best seller usually.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
so, yeah.
I'm sure it's right there. Let me see a couple other things. The crispy pork belly looks very good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly get that for my meal.
Oh, do you
lot.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to do that.
It's definitely, if you're going to order apps with people, I always suggest that. Absolutely.
Perfect. The top seller. So is that the fish tacos or fish and chips?
This time of year, it's the fish tacos.
Okay.
But if you look at the whole year, I think it's like probably a hamburger.
Okay.
But right below that's fish and chips.
Okay. All right. Great.
Especially like during Lent and all that stuff, we get we sell a ton of it, and it's really, really good. And it's something the boys had a lot of experience with.
Yeah.
And wanted to bring and show, off, and I think they've done a great job.
As we get to the 80s outside and it warms up, let me tell you, man, sangria season for me. I can be up on the patio up there with that melon sangria, and you don't have to say a word to me. I'm a happy guy.
Oh, I know. It's so good. It's so refreshing. Again, with any of the drinks that we have up there, we're just blessed to have great staff.
There you go.
Incredibly creative staff. And so, the melon sangria, I'm assuming Clint, my GM, probably had his hand behind it.
Sure.
But like I said, it's so cool when you give the staff some leniency to create. They always come up with something really cool.
Listen, that's the thing. And I've talked to people before that have said, I've had some really good selling things on the menu, but it really taxes the staff, so I've taken it off for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Things you got to do. Absolutely.
No, for sure. And I my friends ask me all the time if we have we'll have spring menus for drinks and stuff, and they're like, hey, how do you make this one? I'm like, well, let me go ask the head bartender, because I didn't come up with that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So let me find out.
Yeah.
No,
that's great. So jumping to City Park, let me tell you, man, it's the menu focus is outside park bench eating, kind of,
right? Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Definitely.
And that's when I get the shrimp tacos. If I see fried shrimp, I'm kind of a weakling. That's all I can do. My eyes
good.
stop.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's got the mango salsa on it too. It's again, this time of year, I love that.
It's a pleaser for sure.
Our number one seller at City Park, hands down, is the smash burger, though.
Sure.
I've had so many people tell me it's the best smash burger in town.
Really? I need to
and
try
now
it.
their favorite hamburger. I've even had some friends that don't like the thin hamburgers say, "You've converted me."
Oh, nice.
And so
I've
next
gotta
time
try
you're
it.
there, you have to try it out.
I've had like I said, the fried shrimp tacos, but I've also had the street tacos, and those are big. I don't know. I'm a taco guy, I guess.
It's hard. It's hard not to eat them.
Can't really.
Next time you go in, the City Secret taco, you have to try that,
Okay.
and then the Griselda. Those are my two favorite. Yeah.
Let me guess who that's named after. Yeah. Tell me about those real quick.
So the City Secret is, we have a famous Mexican dish in Northwest Arkansas. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called Steven Special.
Oh, sure. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Right. It's basically a Steven Special on a taco.
Okay. All right.
And it's just so smashable. Every time I get a taco there, it's like a side taco. It's like I always joke with people that I'll eat like a burger at a table with people, and then I'll go find another table and order like a taco, so they don't make fun of me for ordering two different things. And then the Griselda is our smoked brisket that we have.
Heck yeah.
Tater tot, cheese dip,
Oh.
and with our pico on top. So it's just so good.
I'm so glad you mentioned barbecue, because that's a big thing there.
It is, yeah. So we do fresh smoked barbecue on Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Out the trailer in the back, so it's not on the QR codes like the rest of the menu is.
Okay.
So you have to walk back there. You'll be greeted with a lovely gentleman named Gavin.
Okay.
That puts so much effort into it, and
Yeah.
he's making sausages now.
Nice.
Hand making sausages
Okay.
every Wednesday that we sell, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday. And it's you said you're from Texas, and so it's just you need to come try the brisket, because that's what we put the most effort into, and it's the thing that takes the longest.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
By the way, and I don't think you even have to mention where the barbecue trailer is. I think people will find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It's not
follow
hard
the
to find.
smoke.
Yeah, that's exactly
definitely.
right. That's
Absolutely.
exactly right. So, and I guess we mentioned this in the first part, but you can sit there, have your drinks, have your food, the kids and the dogs. It's a place for everybody.
It really is, yeah.
And it's a lot of space, and it's really, especially with the weather like it is now. And I know you said it's year round, but it's a great space for right now, especially.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
And, we're adding fans and heaters every year to try to accommodate.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Times that it's not as warm.
Yeah.
Last year we added on the main side drop down shades that go all the way to the ground.
Okay.
So, when it's minus.
Oh,
when
my
it's under
gosh.
30, we can't do a whole lot. But
Right.
if it's above 30, that main side stays fairly warm now.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, and so you can still come and eat during the winter time, during
Nice.
December. We're always going to be open. And we're open
Okay.
every day, too. We don't take any days off there.
It's great.
Every single day. You never know when the
I
sun's
had
going to
no
come
idea.
out.
Oh, that's true, right? That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have an idea, and then it gets ruined.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the place where we are currently, the Guisinger.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that there's small plates here. You think of Guisinger, you think about a classic cocktail bar. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But not. I'll tell you, before I looked, I didn't even think about the Guisinger having food, but
For
there
sure.
is, and it's
There is.
really popular.
It is, man. It's gaining traction. I think 2 weekends ago was the most food we had ever sold in a weekend.
Wow. Okay.
And we've switched the menu up, and I think people are responding to it. But our whole goal with this place is, with Feed and Folly, we have reservations a lot.
Sure.
Tula, the OPO, all these great restaurants down here get really busy when the town's buzzing. And we wanted to create a place that you could stop in before dinner or after dinner, have a snack while you're waiting for your reservation, and just, almost like a waiting room.
It's great.
For the restaurants around here. And obviously then stay open late and be your, classic cocktail bar as well.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
our vision when we first opened. And we just keep adding more and more food because it seems
Yeah.
like people want that. And
Listen, it's an oyster place, first and foremost.
Oh, they're so good.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we get our oysters flown in fresh.
Nice.
Twice a week. And originally we didn't think we were going to sell that much. And it's kind of like the food. It's just now
Kinda caught on.
Every week we're adding more and more. And so, which is great. And, our guys do a great job shucking them. There's never any shells or anything in it. And
Never any
really are
fingers
great.
lopped off,
No.
anything like that. That's
No,
good.
It is.
That's a good
We got the
thing.
Kevlar gloves down there just
Oh,
in
good.
case. Yeah.
That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crab dip with cream cheese and toasted breadcrumbs. Come on, man.
Oh, it's so good.
No.
Who doesn't like a dip?
Yeah. Yeah. The caviar. You guys have caviar with creme fraiche.
We do, and we serve them with Ruffles potato chips.
I mean, come on, man.
It's something it's kind of trendy right now.
It's
You
great.
see it going off in New York and
great.
stuff, and you don't think
Yeah.
it's a great combo, but you stack it up on a Ruffles, and you get that saltiness, and it's quite the perfect bite.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You've got the pork belly bao, by
Yeah.
the way, the steamed buns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I bet that's a crowd pleaser for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
We did that as a special at Feed and Folly a
Okay.
couple times.
Okay.
Sold out every single time. So
Yeah.
when we opened this, we always knew we wanted to have something on a bao.
Yeah.
And it's still pork belly, but we did change the flavors for the spring.
Okay.
So it's a little bit sweeter.
Oh,
it's
nice.
I think it's a mango glaze we're putting on it right now.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
you'll need to try that out next time
Yeah.
you come in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's some new things. Lobster rolls.
Yes, lobster rolls.
What is up?
Man, again, I love going to New York, seeing my friends. Always loved lobster rolls.
Sure.
And it's funny, we actually told our food supplier that we wanted to try to sell lobster rolls, and they warned us, like, everybody always brings it on. It's really expensive because we're in the middle of Arkansas.
Sure.
You're not on the coast.
Yeah.
He's like, they always take it off. And so I kind of took it as a challenge, and
Sure.
that's been one of our top sellers since we've
great.
made that menu switch. So
People know where to find it now, right?
exactly, yeah, exactly.
Crispy rice, also big with ceviche also.
Yeah.
These are the new things in the new menu. How long have you had those on?
Probably 3 weeks now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so it's
yeah.
fairly new with all of our new cocktails too. There's some really awesome cocktails that if you haven't been here in 3 weeks, you got to come back and try out.
I have
for
not
sure.
been here in 3 weeks. So what is one of the big ones? The new ones?
The MSG in a bottle is one of the new ones.
Okay.
And Haven, who you said that was
Sure.
you've met before here, kind of came up with that drink, but it's a milk punch. So they wash it, and it's clear. But the way I explain it, it's like a drink that you take a sip of, and you really don't know about it. But then 15 seconds later, you're like, I want to try that again. And so it's kind of a slow sipper, but it's
it's a
just so
slow
good. It's a
burn.
whiskey drink.
Okay.
And it's super unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we have a couple new ones that are on our signature cocktail list.
Sure.
We got an El Diablo, which is a tequila drink, which we call crushable. So you can sit
Okay.
here and drink 5 of them. I don't suggest you drink 5 of them, but
You better
just
give your keys
very,
to
very
somebody
good and
else.
refreshing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, also martinis. Tell me about the porn star. Come on.
Yeah, man.
It's
So-
called porn star. The
right.
drink.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It's a little X-rated.
It's a lot to live up to.
It is, yeah.
Or
So-
down to. I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, again, the boys have a younger sister.
Okay.
She's moved to England after college.
Okay.
Back to England. She was born in the United States, actually, but she's over there doing some programs. And as we were opening this, she was obviously sending us stuff she was seeing in London and
Yeah.
in the UK. And she kept telling us, there's this martini over here called a porn star. Like it's like trending. Everybody likes it.
Yeah.
No one really had heard about it in the United States yet. I think like New York's starting to have it, and you start
Yeah.
seeing it on the coast. But it's basically just a passion fruit martini.
Okay.
And it's delicious, and it comes with a sidecar, which is like a little shot of
Yeah.
champagne.
What?
And so the champagne's supposed to cut the tartness of the passion fruit. So some people pour it in.
Yeah.
Some people sip it on the side to
Yeah.
kind of cleanse the palate. But it's been a
Interesting.
a great drink, and it
Interesting.
seems like people really like it.
And there's the Guisinger Martini. I'm guessing that's more classical.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things for me and Whit, who I had mentioned earlier, who actually used to work for us at Feed and Folly. That's how we got to know him. Then when we opened this place, it was obvious that he was really interested in cocktails and was going to be the driving force for us. But one of the things about like cocktail bars is I think we trended to a place at one point where everything was crazy.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to focus on classics here and be that classic martini, that classic old fashioned, and really, really pay attention to those old drinks that kind of got left behind when this new cocktail push happened.
So not natty lights in a plastic cup is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Although there is a time and a place for that.
There sure is.
Right.
There sure is. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying not for here.
Yeah, no, not for here. We do have Red Stripe and in a bottle. So like that's my favorite beer. And
it's great.
We wanted to have a couple bottled options here.
Okay.
But no domestics. Yeah, it's that and Peroni.
Okay. Peroni's great.
Yep.
They're both great. Let's see, 4 different old fashions here. You've got the margaritas. You've got the Negronis. I mean, it's a pretty extensive list.
It is, yeah. And again,
and all the classics too.
Trying to drive on the classics, but then also get creative with them. So we have every old fashioned you could think of.
Sure.
Any alcohol you want in it, we've got it.
That's great.
Same with Negronis and all that stuff. Every kind of flair you could think of.
Yeah.
We tried to take care of it.
So I'm going to ask you a not fair question now. How can folks find you at all 3 places, like online and in person? So let's start with Feed and Folly, the address.
110 South College.
Okay, just so folks know.
Yep.
And Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, so Facebook and Instagram are the easiest ways to contact us.
All right.
By far. Yeah. Instagram is the quickest way to get a response, probably.
Same, by the way. Yeah.
So I hate to say that. But.
No, I'm with you. Also, City Park, the address. Is there one address, or is there 7?
1332.
Okay.
Yeah. That building is weird, though, because when we first took over it, there's obviously
different suites.
Yeah, but you also have like a line of entrance for all the utilities.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be Southwestern Bell, there was like 4. So like the city kept showing up and being like, I don't think that's mine, And so it was just kind of odd. But
sure.
There actually is 2 addresses, but we just go to 1332.
Okay.
Yep.
1332.
North Leverett.
Okay. Just making sure folks know that. And finally, where we are, the Guisinger.
Yeah, this is 1 East Mountain.
Yeah.
So
easy breezy.
Easy breezy. Feed and Folly and the Guisinger you can obviously walk to. They're so close. City Park, to us, was an underutilized part of town. Like if you really look at it from a crow's nest, it's like dead center.
Okay.
2 blocks away from campus.
I didn't even think of it that way, but that makes
so like
sense.
we're right there,
Yeah.
And easy access for people out west off Mount Comfort.
Yeah.
And same with people coming from the east. So we really just like this center of town.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great. And both of those places, Facebook, Instagram as well?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right, great. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed it.
Flavors of Northwest Arkansas you can find on Facebook and Instagram as well. Also, flavorsofnwa@gmail.com in case you want to shoot an email. I don't know why you would. It's probably much easier on social media. Regardless, we appreciate your time. Have a great week and tip your servers. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.